So, I guess it's time we should introduce Conrad Reimer.
Yes, it is the week of Spain, and we don't know any Spanish people,
Yes.
so we've got the next best thing, someone from Elmer?
Yeah, Spanish.
Well, not really. No, I don't know. Anyway, Elmer is where Conrad and I are from, and we grew up together and went to school together. And Conrad also peddles wine in Toronto and does business with my restaurant. So we thought it'd be fun to talk about wine on the radio show again.
Mm-hmm.
And we felt that we should feature Spain.
Because it's the week of Spain.
Because it's the week of Spain.
The week of Spain.
And so we got a wine here, a white one, Conrad.
Oh, let's just get right into it, yeah.
Yeah, all right. So I don't know really where to start, but since it being Week of Spain, let's talk about the value of Spanish wines in the market right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really nice wines, and it's a great time to be a wine consumer because of the choices that we have. The LCBO actually carries a lot of phenomenal products, but prices can really kind of climb through the roof, and it gets a little bit confusing. You don't want to drop a lot of dough on some nice wines. So Spain kind of stands out in the sense that you can get some amazing products at really decent prices. Case in point, I think that our spread is like between $18 and $22 today.
Yeah.
And so all of which, I've had all of these wines, and they're all pretty sensational, I think, for the price. But Rioja is the main region that everybody knows. It's the most famous region. And Tempranillo is the red varietal that everybody knows. It's their signature grape variety. It's kind of their answer to, say, Napa Valley Cab or Bordeaux Cabernet Sauvignon. It's big, it's red, it's full-bodied, it's age-worthy, and generally speaking delicious as long as they've done a good job with it. But we're starting with a white wine today called Conde Valdemar. Little bottle shot there. This is actually one of Chuck's choices. It's a white Rioja, and the grape varietal is called excuse my Spanish, Viore.
Viore?
Viore.
Oh, it's not Verdejo?
It's not a Verdejo, no, but that's another varietal that they have there as well. Generally speaking, it's a relatively fresh wine, meant to be consumed young, so it has a nice, good acidity, really refreshing and bright with a lot of good kind of stone fruit characteristics going on. But let's pour it and we'll give it a go.
Yes, I want to taste some.
Yeah, with a day like today with sunshine and all that, it's good to start with a white.
Well, he says it's good to drink young. Does that mean we should chug it?
No, that means that it won't age. It won't age as in the bottle as well as
you.
Yeah. Well put. All right,
let's try this. It smells.
Give it a little sniffy sniff.
You can smell the fruit.
Kind of smells like Haagen-Dazs vanilla ice cream right when you first open it. Do you know what I mean? Specifically Haagen-Dazs, though.
And also, you'll notice it actually says on the label it's barrel fermented, which means that it underwent fermentation, gaining its alcohol from yeast, eating the sugar, crapping out alcohol. That's basically what happens. But done in the barrel, you get a nice little kind of oaky undertone on it.
Yeah, it has quite a yellow color to it.
It's
got so many different layers of flavor.
It does have very complex layers of flavor.
It lasts a long time as well.
Wow, that's sensational. That's quite lovely.
Is that nice?
It is quite lovely.
If anybody in the audience
would like
wants
to try
a little bit, grab a plastic cup.
Yeah, help yourself.
Go do it here.
Do it yourself.
We're going to have wine in our hands.
We're busy drinking it.
It's fresh, it's young, it's got some good citrus flavors on the palate, I think, with a good little kind of oaky undertone, but it's a well put together wine.
Yeah, I like it a lot. And I've been finding that Spain and even Portugal have some very interesting white wine options. I get so tired of the same old, I like Sauvignon Blanc, but drink something else. Chardonnay's great, but try something different.
And that's kind of the beauty of wine also, especially old world versus new world. There's a ton of diversity, and you can jump around and just really explore so many different regions, so many varietals, and there's so many unique characteristics between all the different ones. And that's kind of a neat thing too, because you can have the same varietal grown in the same region across the street from one another, and depending on maybe soil composition or the winemaker's influence on the product, they can be totally night and day. completely different products. So that's why it's a good time.
Yeah, totally. A lot of people are biased. You know, there's people that only California or only French.
Yeah, and listen, like you can get some great California wines, amazing French wines, but the fact of the matter is a lot of them are going up to like $75, $120, $170 bottles, and it's kind of unaffordable for most.
My
know?
friend
And France keeps all their good wine,
Yeah.
and they import their lesser quality
That's,
wine.
I was just about to say that. My friend Julien. Oh, we keep the good wine in France.
Yeah, I normally don't like white wine too much, but this isn't bad.
Yeah, it's different. It's different, right? I like. I'm a big fan of Gruner Veltliner from Austria. I just love it. It's so good.
There's actually a big Austrian trade show happening on the 22nd of this month at the Rose Hill Venue Lounge, and there's going to be a whole bunch of Gruner Veltliners as it's their signature grape varietal.
Oh yeah.
But it's going to be delicious.
What time of the day is that?
I think it starts around 1 p.m.
I wonder if I could hit it before I went to work.
And that's just 2 days away from the next David Chuck Show party this Friday, April 24th, with Hamilton Crate Trading Company, Man with Target, Mr. Plow, who's here today, North Star, 68 Porno Mags, Stu Gallagher, Scott Beauregard, Zeroscape, West End Riot, B Rock Steady, and a surprise band.
Ooh, a surprise!
Someone asked if Radiohead was going to be there, and they are going to be there, but they're not playing.
Okay.
They're not the surprise band. So if
I want to shake that one guy's from Radiohead's hand. If I see him. If I can remember what he looks like.
You gotta go to Dave and Chuck Show party.
I'll be there.
It's El Macombo upstairs.
I booked it off. Well, I think that's good. Now we should go to the next one.
Finish up this glass, eh?
Yeah. Well, I usually would rinse them out, but who cares?
Yeah, who cares? That's
It's
fine.
Dave and Chuck Show. We don't have like a.
And so this is the part where Dave gives the wine a rating.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, let's do
Between
that.
1 and 100.
1 and 100, I give it 62.
You're a tough critic, my friend.
Yeah, it's a white wine. I know that some of these wines are going to be very delicious.
What do you think, Stu?
We should
I think
write-
I'm going to start having that for breakfast instead of apple juice. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
No, I love that. Yeah.
I give it like an 82. It was nice.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go above that. I'm going to score it an 88.
I
Oh,
first
wow,
thought that,
wow.
but I was like,
I think it's a great effort. It's a well-made wine. It's fairly well balanced. It's got a little bit of complexity. It's got a fresh kind of finish on it that keeps on going, and it's a little bit of a waxy mid palate too. And I
yeah,
think
that's what I want. I was trying to put my tongue on that, man.
yeah. So I don't know. I think it's delicious, and I think for the $18.95 that you spent, I score that a big 88 right there. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna get something for
delicious
dinner.
value.
Yeah.
All right, next.
Next.
Let's explore another part of Spanish wine.
All right, we're going to go on Chuck's second choice, which is I think going to be very interesting.
Oh
no, that's
I
Dave.
picked up that one.
Oh, this is a Dave choice.
Yeah. My
Hey,
other
good idea.
choice is that one. But
It was the last one left at the LCBO.
I think we've had this, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this wine, the Taha Grand Reserva 2001. 2001 was an excellent vintage across the board in Spain. So
And
that's
it's actually spelled TAJA because they don't pronounce their J's as J's.
Gee,
it's kind of like yogging.
You didn't know that about Spanish people? It's ha.
All right. So label distinctions on this. It says it's a Grand Reserva, and what does that mean exactly? Well. Legally, to be called the Grand Reserva in Spain, the wine has to undergo a certain aging process, and to be a Grand Reserve, pretty much that means it has to spend a minimum of 2 years in the barrel and a minimum of 3 years in the bottle post that before they can actually release it in the market. And the idea behind it is that they do all the aging for you, and upon release it should be totally ready to drink and good to go. It'll probably further develop in the bottle a little bit if you lay it down in your cellar, but on release it's minimum aged 5 years, so it should be pretty good to go. So.
Especially with
Kind
the
of smells like black currants.
Especially with a good growing season, right?
I'm gonna taste it.
Yeah, in the 2001, it should be able to develop for quite some time after this.
What do you think? 10 years? 15?
Such a beautiful color.
If I say so myself, I had a pretty good choice.
That's delicious.
That's really delicious.
Oh, definitely.
Yep. A lot of fruit. You're right on the black currants. It's got like a little licoricey thing going on. Maybe some really nice dark cherry.
If I could eat something with it, it would be steak with sauteed blueberries.
And this is a man that knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, man. Doesn't that just go great?
Yeah. You would go good with even wild boar.
Oh, yes. So marinated in, what, anise?
Oh,
And
yeah.
beer and Sprite.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't we order some of that in here?
Or what else would we do
Wild
with
pork.
If anybody else, again,
Yeah, let's pass it around. There's
Yeah.
also some really good vanilla notes on this one as well
Yes.
from the barrel aging that's really showing well. It's got a nice long earthy finish as well. I think this is a great value. Again, for a 2001 Grand Reserva, at this quality level, at this quality tier, anywhere else you'd be paying a lot more money than the $20 that you dropped on it, right?
yeah. Now you spin it around a little bit. Now, what does that do for people that don't know much about?
Pretty much when you're spinning this around the glass,
Yeah.
it just aerates the wine. So when you actually nose or put your nose in the glass to smell it and get the aromas out, it just opens it up a little bit to kind of express itself a little bit better.
Move the molecules around a little, eh?
Yeah, the molecules.
I'm out. I drank mine. Can I,
I
have
like
some
it.
more?
Stu wants some more of that.
Stu doesn't like when his molecules move around.
Yeah, it is.
I'm glad my molecules are moving around right now.
You know, I didn't know this, you know what, but we're doing $1 corkage on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday right now for spring. You should come in with your wife.
I didn't know that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, we've been doing it. We did it 2 weeks. We went to Madeline, had the Shang menu. We brought in some great bottles of wine, and then the following week we went to Lee with a bigger group. And
And the $1 corkage is at both Lee and Madeline's?
yeah,
That's excellent.
It's a good deal because it's like it really makes the bill go down.
yeah, you're gonna spend probably $60 on a bottle of wine at a restaurant, right?
Agreed. I would say that that's an easy mid-range, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
so you get a $20 bottle of wine, and then it's $21.
Or you get
There
a
you go.
$65 bottle of wine and have something fucking awesome that would be priced at $150, $170.
Yeah, and that's a good strategy to do. But also, etiquette tip, etiquette alert. I'd say from a server's perspective, if it's $1 corkage, you should tip on the value of the bottle you're bringing in.
Well, a lot of people do.
Yes.
Actually, people are leaving great tips with this dollar corkage.
Because I think that they think that they're getting value,
they
right?
expect to pay a lot more,
And they,
and then they see the bill, and they're like, "Oh, it's only that. Oh, okay.
well, you know what? I
yeah.
really liked everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I plan to spend this much money." Right?
And also, Greg and Ben at Madeline's and Lee, they do a great job with the wine list, so they have an amazing selection.
Except for the Sangiovese that they brought into the place. It's fucking garbage.
Hey, that's bullshit. That's my wine.
You can decant it for 2 days before it's drinkable.
Yeah, well, that's a Super Tuscan, actually, and it's organically grown. And for the price, it's actually a really good value.
I had it at one time at the Harvard room, and I put the cork back on it, took it home because I couldn't finish it because it was gross.
Yeah, that's fair. But that's the beauty of wine. It's subjective, right?
Fair enough.
You don't have to like it.
Now, Conrad, before we move to the next bottle, why don't you tell us how you got into selling wine to restaurants?
Yeah. I had no idea that you were into this.
It was a kind of time and place thing. I did a lot of traveling, and in my travels, I went to a lot of vineyards and got exposed to some different wines. And I've always been a bit of a wine drinker and lover. And so when I graduated university, I decided just to give it a go and started applying at some places. But in my absence, during my travels, my neighbor moved in, and he was the manager of, sure enough, a wine importing company. So
Oh, that worked out really good.
yeah, I came home, and it just kind of happened, and I fell into it. But it's a really fun job. You get to eat a lot of really nice restaurants and meet some fun people and drink some amazing wine, right?
Yeah, maybe I should get out of the restaurant part of it, go to the other part of it.
Oh, what number would you give that bottle, the Taja?
I don't know. I thought it was really well put together. It was nice and soft, and it shows a lot of the aging process already in it. So it's nice and rounded. It's not too tannic, so that means that's that gripping, drying sensation you get in your mouth. That's really softened out. So I think it's a really approachable bottle of wine. I think I'd give it a solid 89 points.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I think that's a good bottle, and especially at $20 price point, I
Yeah.
think that you can't really go wrong.
I love that bottle.
Yeah, it's good.
I've had it before, and I'll buy it again, and it's great. It's up my alley. I agree. It shows some of that aging. I give it a 91.
Ooh. I'll give it an 88. A solid 88.
Sorry,
Crazy.
Greg, I gave it an 83. My first thought was it's an 83.
Oh.
You know?
Well, hey, you got to go with your first thought.
My first gut instinct, that's not a bad mark. I
No,
love
no,
this-
I
love
no,
this
that's
This
one.
one
that's
is
a great-
gotten
that's a great
good
mark.
one.
With the peanut butter sandwich, I'm telling you, that would be awesome.
So, Conrad, what's next on our magical journey of Spanish wine?
Okay, so a quick little bit of history.
Yes.
So Spain and wine, they go back a long, long time, and the Spaniards have been making wine for ages and ages and ages. They kind of fell out of favor in the 1800s, early 1800s, because their winemaking techniques were seen as a little bit dated and too traditional, and the palate around the world was changing a little bit to the tune where they would age some of their wines for up to 2 decades in barrel. And what you get after that, it's an interesting product, but it ends up being sometimes very earthy and just not as fruit forward as we now really enjoy our wines. Anyway, there was a disease called phylloxera, aphids that destroyed a lot of the European vineyards, especially in France. When that happened, a lot of the French winemakers came down to Spain, brought in some more modern winemaking techniques and methods, and now they make some really high-quality wines at, again, good prices. Difference being, there's still 2 schools of thought. There's some old world producers that like to keep that old world flavor, earth, terroir-driven characteristics, and there's some new ones that focus more on the fruit aspect of things. And this is a winery that's very modern, all very modern winemaking techniques, and it's actually just on the other side of the river of the Rioja. So they have a great climate, great soil composition, and they do some amazing products. So this is a blend of Tempranillo, which again was Spain's signature grape, and then it has Merlot and Cabernet, which are also other European varietals. But this is a very fruit-forward, modern attempt at a bottle of wine. And I think you'll see-
What's it called?
Oh, sorry, Piedemonte. It's a Crianza. So as opposed to the Gran Reserva we just had that saw 5 years of aging, this has had a minimum of 1 year of aging and 1 year in the barrel before it's able to be released to market. So this is a little bit of a younger wine, a fresher wine, but also much more fruit-heavy and dominant on the front palate. So
What does Piedemonte mean?
you know what? It's the name of the winery. I don't have an answer for you.
It's a region in a major wine region in Italy, Piedemonte.
Oh.
Do you think it has any inspiration behind that?
Doing my research, it didn't mention that, but
No.
Piedemonte is known for making some of the finest Italian wines called Barolo, for
I
And
think it means
Barbaresco.
foothills.
in Barbaresco, which is delicious.
Foothills. I thought it had something to do with feet.
That fungus you were talking about that attacked Europe, is that the one that they that sulfur could kill, but they wouldn't do it because Christians thought that sulfur was an element of the devil?
That's entirely possible.
It wasn't until they finally were like, fuck it.
It's a little aphid, so it's actually a little bug that they attach themselves to the rootstock of the.
And that's
Other
when
vines?
is that when they started to take they did like what was it, plant grafting, graft the vines onto it.
That's the reason they started grafting, because that was their cure to this
on
disease.
American roots, because American
That's right.
roots didn't get affected by it for whatever reason.
That's correct. Yeah.
Or had built up a resistance to it.
Yeah. So they would graft their vines to American rootstock, and then it would become resistant to the aphids.
Yeah.
But the
Okay,
aphids
so
would
it's
just
a
destroy the roots, and so they would actually have no water or nutrient supply to the grapes. Therefore, the vines just dry out. Right.
Right. So now I'm thinking of a different phenomenon.
Yes.
Something that happened in Italy. I forget what it's called. So, any kind of disease usually is hard to say.
I give it a 70. The other one, the last one was good, but I picked
Tough
it.
grade.
Well, it's definitely not as complex as the other one.
It
I
tastes
definitely like the other
different.
one. I don't dislike this. This is just more just drinking wine.
Yeah. This is a little
You
bit
know
more
what I mean? Like
approachable, fruit heavy, easygoing kind of wine.
By
Less
school
complex.
or whatever, or in the middle of the afternoon. It's not really like it's not like it would be bad with food either, but it's not intense, not complex. So I don't think it's
It would
terrible.
go good with Parmesan cheese.
Pasta?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got a good acidity, nice clean finish, but it's got, again, a little bit more body weight than the last one. The last one,
Yeah.
because it's seen some more barrel age, it's a little bit easier. It's a little bit, I'm not going to say lighter, but it's just an easier medium body. And this
I like
has
it.
a little bit more weight, I would say. But yeah, easier drinking than the other one. The other one had a lot more layers going on in terms of complexity.
Yeah. Yeah, I give it a 76. It's not.
I'm good for an 83 on this guy.
Yeah.
I've been thinking hard for the last 3 seconds. I think that's a 72.
Ooh.
Wow.
So we have a wine that's bombed here, my
Top
friends.
of my head.
Well, it's not. I just maybe it's just because that last one was so badass. You know.
Mm.
Or maybe I should have rinsed my mouth out, but I
I'm
think
already feeling a little drunk.
I'm not against it. I'm not against it.
That's fair.
But if it's still $20, still buy that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Two totally different styles. It's kind of hard to compare apples and oranges on that one, but both good values, I think. This one was a little bit lower in price point. It was $18 versus your 20 or 21, whatever it was. But also a different region again. So,
Yeah. Oh yeah, doing more new style, right?
That's right.
Have you ever been to Spain?
Actually, I've not been to Spain. It's on my list on my next trip. I'm hoping to
I
go.
must go one time, I think. Because
Yeah.
I really like wine and food, and I think they have both of those things.
Oh, Spain is good because they invented tapas,
Yes.
right? Which is like it's like during the happy hour. Sometimes it's even free. They give you cheeses, sausages, and other snacks. Oh, great! Spanish peanuts, of course.
I've heard the sea cucumber is good in Spain.
I haven't tried that.
Well, Conrad, I was going to ask,
Spanish
have you seen Sergio Garcia?
Negative.
Not a golfer.
I golf occasionally, but I'm not
Well, Sebi Ballesteros, have you seen him? Like on TV even.
negatory.
Negatory. Well, that's the next best thing going to Spain if you haven't been there, right? So like, you gotta watch these guys on TV. That's my thing. I haven't been to Spain yet. You guys were
You
there,
guys
though,
wanna
right?
do
David
a-
and Chuck, you were in Spain.
Do you guys want? No, we didn't go to Spain.
You didn't make it there. Okay.
We should
We should do a song and then come back to the last wine. You think? No?
Yeah, more wine.
Or do you think something else?
Well, let's just do it.
All right, let's do it.
Song?
No.
No.
Keep drinking.
We're gonna try this wine.
All right, so last wine.
You gotta finish your wine so you can try the next wine.
By the time he pours it, I'll down it.
This again is a blend. Now we're going to another region. This is on the east coast of Spain, in an area called Valencia. And Valencia used to be a big sort of port town for exporting of Spanish wines, and they were known for some time as a kind of a bulk producing region. Lesser known for quality wines, more just for lots of wines and exporting wines. But that in recent times has changed, and there's a big push towards quality as there is all across the country. So this actually scored from Robert Parker, who is one of the world's most influential wine critics, a 90 points.
90 points?
So we have something to compare it to, not to skew your perception, but this is, again, a totally different style than the other ones that we've had. I find it an easy, silky medium body, but it's a blend of Tempranillo and a little splash of Cabernet for a little bit more depth.
It's got a very interesting smell. It's a lot more subtle than the other one.
Absolutely.
You say Robert Parker?
It's like
Robert Parker.
What's his name? Robert Leroy Parker?
It wasn't,
it's
no.
almost perfumey, but not in, perfumey, but not intense grandma perfume, like elegant, sexy silkiness kind of.
And if anyone in our listening audience knows who Robert Leroy Parker is, please phone the David Chuck Show and live and let us know.
Oh, that's nice.
On our
I really like it.
on our phone that isn't here.
Oh, they can try. Oh, they can.
You can just give out Dave's cell number again.
Oh, it smells. Something smells like it's burning.
Yeah.
It looks like our board is on fire.
That's my cigarette.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow, I like this one.
Isn't that delicious?
Because we need that board.
That's great.
Now this is where I think that I finish this and then have some more of that, and then I'll decide what my score is.
Okay, that's fair.
No, we gotta just do it.
Okay.
Do it, man. Now, what time do you gotta go?
I'm probably going to get out of here in the next 10 or 15 minutes, is my guess.
Is that all the wine you brought? You leave
We
some.
got, there's
Look at that.
there's a reserve.
Well, we should. Yeah, we could keep.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. We bought it for today.
You want to go for another two?
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Sure, let's try that.
Can we do that? Yeah. Do we have the time? Let's give it. Stu Gallagher, give your score.
I say 75 for this one. I think that's a really nice wine, but it doesn't get the highest score because it's a little bit tanny for me, I think.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Well, it's young. It could probably sit a couple more years.
Yeah, try
only
swirling
2
it
years
around
old.
a little bit.
It's only
I'm swirling.
2 years
Swirl it
old,
up.
so it
I
could
was
stay.
watching Conrad, he's good at the swirling.
You
Put
could
it
sit
down
for
on
a
the
couple
table
more
and do it
days,
that way.
eh?
That's the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you don't spill it, right?
You know what, I give it an 80. I still like my pick the best,
You're not biased.
but I'm biased.
I don't care what religion you are.
I'm gonna do 81 because I do like it.
Yeah,
I like it. I'd
It's
buy it
nice.
again. You know what I mean? Or I would buy it, or I put it on my wine list.
This could go good with like maybe a lamb or something.
Yeah, for sure.
How about ketchup, potato chips?
I'd say it's a little bit more elegant than the one we had last. The other one was a little bit more heavy hitting. This has again some more elegance, a little bit. It shows nice on the from the barrel aging, I think, because again I get vanilla, I get a little bit of licorice, I get a little bit of that toasty oak going on, you know.
Right. I agree. Yeah, I like it. I like Spanish wine though.
Can I ask a wine question?
Please ask.
Oh,
How come Dan Aykroyd can't make a very good wine? Is it because he's not Spanish?
You know what? Because he doesn't use snobby grapes. That's why.
Only snobby grapes make the best wines.
Are there any celebrities that make decent wine?
You know what? It all depends on where they source their fruit from and who's actually making the wine. I haven't really gone through a lot of the celebrity wines and drank through them, but you know, I found that Dan Aykroyd, a couple of his white ones were actually pretty decent for the price. They weren't terrible. I didn't love them, and I thought they were kind of average, okay. I haven't tried the Wayne Gretzky
I was
wines,
just gonna say, what about Wayne Gretzky? Is he finished his hockey?
but apparently he's now got a release of a Napa Valley Cabernet, which is supposed to be decent. And decent, I have no idea what that means because I've not tried it yet. But
And if a celebrity comes out with a blush wine, can we assume they're gay?
yes, absolutely. Yeah.
all right, next one. Now, while you open it, you have to drive, so you're pouring your wine into a cup, and it's all mixing together. And so whoever loses today's show in the studio has to drink that.
I've watched him spin there a couple of times too.
Shh.
This has not been used, but put some wine in there for me. I'm gonna keep them together.
Oh, you still can't keep up. That's something else.
I can't drink too much wine for breakfast. I'll taste it though, that's for sure. I can't wait to get this next wine happening here.
Ooh. I heard the.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that, eh?
Who said
You're not
that?
supposed to go.
That's all right. Here at the Dave and Chuck Show, we don't judge.
We don't usually rinse, but I'm getting a brand new glass here. Here we go.
Okay, so I've never had this wine. This was Chuck's or Dave's selection.
Dave's.
Oh yeah, because I was told that I had to get 2 bottles of wine, so that was the one I picked.
What did you pay for this Zumaya?
Everything that I paid for was between 20 and 22 bucks.
Excellent. Excellent. So this is from a region called Ribera del Duero, and this is sort of on, I would say, west side of Spain, kind of inland a little bit. But what makes Ribera del Duero an interesting region and a delicious region is that it's actually the same river that goes through Portugal called the Douro, which is made where they make the fortified wines port. But as it comes inland, they have a lot of old vines grown in this region in Ribera del Duero of Tempranillo, and they have recently seen a great increase in quality and a big kind of, I'm not going to call it a cult following, but just like standard across the board mainstream, everybody knows you generally get pretty decent quality wines from Ribera del Duero. So a good choice on Dave's behalf. That's a really neat region, a really good region.
Yeah.
And I'm going to steal this one from my colleague that I work with, Lenny, who is fantastic and has an amazing palate, but he finds, and I totally agree with him, that on the nose with most Ribera del Duero wines made from the Tempranillo variety, you kind of get a little bit of an essence of sour cream and onion chips.
Oh yeah.
It's like a soft little lactic kind of smell. It's just
I'm gonna
creamy
taste
almost.
it. I'm gonna taste it.
I'm imagining chips.
Another good choice by me.
You know, I didn't get to choose one of the wines. I would have chosen Baby Duck. They have like Baby Duck over there in Spain.
I don't think that's a Spanish.
I don't think that was funny. I don't think that was funny either. Now, one thing, why doesn't any other parts of the world, like, why you don't see Tempranillo growing in very many New World places? It seems to just kind of be Spain and maybe a touch
It's
of
kind of
Portugal.
got like a spicy to it. The Tempranillo good.
Well put, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Tempranillo is definitely, its home is in Spain, and that's where it seems to shine the best. However, there's some New World areas starting to experiment with the varietal, one being the Barossa Valley in Australia. Actually makes some really incredible Tempranillo. And I've seen a couple come out of Paso Robles out of California as well. So it is getting around, and people are starting to experiment a little bit more, but yes, for the most part, it is a Spanish varietal, and it seems to excel in Spain.
What do you think this would be good with?
Yeah.
You know, this one actually it's a pretty big mouthful, and it has some good tannic structure. I think that it would go great with a piece of meat, a nice steak or something. It would really hold up to the fat. It's got great body, good fruit, and really good length on the finish as well. I'm actually kind of impressed by this wine. I think it's kind of delicious.
And it's ready to drink.
It's totally ready to drink.
Ossington? Yeah, because
I give it
further west.
an 88. The same as my other pick.
Oh, you're heading east? Okay, if you're heading east, you have to go a little bit.
I'm so great.
I'm going to give it a...
Yeah, and when
You're
you
so
see
great.
Ossington, there's
I'm going to give it a 90.
there's a parking
Ooh.
lot.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go that high, but I'm going to kind of
And
agree
then,
with you on the
you're pretty
88
much,
front. I think
right
that's
where
it's a very
there's
fair
a-
score.
From the
Oh,
parking
thank
lot,
you,
see a back
Conrad.
alley. If
I
you go down the
appreciate
back
it.
alley, you'll
I think
see
it's
a
delicious.
little
It's still a little bit tannic, still a little bit gripping, but I think that given a little bit
Yeah.
of time, it's going to soften out and really
So when you
show
hit
up.
You two are really bonding.
Just spin it around.
Look for the big green.
He's just really good looking.
And you can find a spot in
Thank
there.
you.
Look out, Sarah.
What do you give it, Stu?
75. That was my prime thought that jumped into my brain right there.
Stu's a very picky critic, and I don't
He's
know.
been taken care of.
I sit at home and I eat potato chips and I think, what wine would go with that? You know, so, I'm not
Okay,
How
so
do
we
you
got-
impress this guy?
This is my life.
He loves it.
I just want to impress you, Stu. What can I do? We haven't seen. Have we seen a score over 80 from Stu? Is this possible?
Here.
He did an 83
I
on,
did an 83.
on the Taha.
Ah, okay. Okay, there we go. He's a
Now
complex man.
We've got one more. Is this your pick? All right.
And this is from that region that we already explored, right?
Correct. Navarra, and this is the one that was, if we remember, on the other side of the river from Rioja. Yeah.
More of the New World style.
And it's saying Tempranillo on the label.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume that the majority of what's in here is Tempranillo, because I think by law, to be called a Tempranillo, it has to have at least 85% Tempranillo in it to be called a single varietal blend.
Here, let me get...
Let's we'll open this. We'll crack this open. We'll see what happens.
I'm drunk already.
Oh man, I'm smashed. The news this week is going to be retarded.
I need some cookies. Lisa, bring cookies today.
Yo, she did.
Yeah, well, we'll do that later.
We do all that other stuff in it after we get through this
It
wine.
just goes with...
But does,
I even have book
does
club.
chocolate and Spanish wine go well together?
It would
Yes,
be
today.
That one.
That one.
Those are chocolate today go with wine.
Oh, a chocolate cookie. Oh, wow.
Hey, Chuck, did you know we also have a poem?
Good.
We'll do that later. We
Poems
got
I know, we're just giving, like, previews.
what's this one called?
What's this wine called?
1 second.
Purple.
Quaderna Via. It's a Crianza again. So the stipulations for Crianza, to repeat, is minimum 1 year in the barrel and minimum 1 year in the bottle before being released to market.
You know, I know Mr. Plow is here again. Anytime Mr. Plow comes to the show, I get smashed.
Very true, very
Tomorrow
true.
should try some wine.
He tries not to drink.
Oh,
He's,
we'll do it for him then.
You know what though? I hear that red wine is good because it has good shit in it for you. It's good for your heart.
It's good for cholesterol.
Yeah. Antioxidants.
That's a good word. Spell that, Chuck.
Maybe later.
Oh,
Enough with the later.
Oh,
man.
One glass tastes perfectly.
I love that. That's juicy.
I'm having a hard time really like distinguishing a smell, but maybe because everything's all muddled up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cigarette smoke here too. But I mean, even off the bat, to appreciate the color, you can see that it's very deep, it's very dark, so there should be good concentration.
Holy Toledo! Hey, look at the sugar residuals that's leaving off on the glass.
Yeah, that's an indication of alcohol content.
What?
What is the alcohol?
Yeah.
What is it?
13.5. It's not
13.5.
it's not
Is that the
incredibly.
most?
That's not incredibly high.
It's
no.
not huge,
We've
though. That's
had
very-
ones
that's
that are 14. Yeah,
That's nothing.
but this is grand.
Yeah, this is an interesting wine too, because I think that the Tempranillo is showing something that I really enjoy in that varietal is a little bit of gaminess, a little bit of meatiness, you
Yes.
know? Yeah.
And it's the back of my tongue is tingling.
Would this go good with pheasant?
It'll go good with that. It'll go good with quail or squab.
Later, right?
Don't you think?
Maybe some gorgonzola cheese.
Yeah, gorgonzola cheese and maybe a gnocchi or a Cornish hen.
Why don't we bring some of that stuff?
All right, Chuck. What's the score?
I really like it. I'm gonna go 91.
Oh man.
So I'm tying it with the. This is two different styles of Spanish wine that I really like. One that has that rusticness, complexity, and then another one here that has good body, nice fruit, very smooth, but yet exciting the palate at the same time.
Well, I'm going to give it an 85 instead of an 88 because I didn't pick it. I think I'm winning.
I'm gonna go 85. I think as well. I enjoyed the wine. I thought it was a good wine, but I found it a little bit linear, a little bit one-dimensional. And a couple of the other ones had a little bit more complexity, but this had a lot of good fruits, a lot of good weight on the palate, and it was exciting. It was good, and I think for what was the price?
That $18.95.
For $18.95, it's definitely a win. You should try it out, and I think it's good because it again displays that kind of gaminess, meatiness that's nice that comes out of the Tempranillo occasionally.
I think it would go good with a Wendy's Baconator.
And I give this wine a 91. I can see
Oh,
myself
wow.
sitting down, drinking this wine and playing some guitar, jamming to the Stones, you know. I may chase it down with a beer. That's what I'm doing today anyway, so.
Well, that was great.
That was it. Thank you, Conrad.
I think that we all learned a lot about Spanish wine today.
And I think that if we can take anything home from this little tasting, I think that we can realize that Spain has incredible value for the dollar, and they make some
you're right.
pretty rad wines.
Because I've had
Spain is
cheaper
one of
than
my
18.
favorite
I've had $16 bottles of Spanish wine that have been fucking gnarly.
Absolutely.
If you don't have to drop a lot, and if you want great, stay away from it. Like Italy and France and California get up there.
Yeah, and you can get the values out of Italy, France, and California for sure, but I find that you need to sift through a lot of product before you find that one that really rocks your pants off or really gets you excited, you know?
Yeah.
So this way you can drop a bit of dough, not too much, and generally get a fairly decent product for the price. And yeah, Spain is good. Spain is fantastic.
My biggest thing that I've heard from critics of Spanish wine is that they say it's too rustic or too
screw those guys.
Fuck that, one thing I don't like about California is that it's polish.
Yeah.
And just like
It's all
it's
marketing, man.
generic. It's just generic, you know.
But there's time and place for everything, and you can get some amazing, really nice polished things out of California, and it's delicious, but you're going to pay for it, and it's a totally different style. But in response to Spanish wine critics that are saying that Spain is too rustic, historically they have been very rustic and very old school, but there's a new trend, and it seems to be going towards a little bit more of a Western style of palate, which means more fruit, more weight, more power, more substance, really.
And you can, like, food pairings are infinite.
Yeah, exactly. And there's even some people that say Spain is the new world in the old world because they're starting to experiment a lot.
Right.
They're starting to really bring forth a really unique style and a bigger style, right?
That's a very clever sentiment.
Yes.
Not so clung to tradition.
Exactly. Though that they really value tradition, you still get the producers that make the rustic style of wines, which I think that we should all appreciate. They're just different styles, and they're amazing, right?
Tradition is good,
Absolutely.
but an open mind is also important.
Agreed.
All right, well, we should do a music break. Thank you, Conrad. You should come back.
Thanks, Carl.
Thank you, guys.
And we'll try some more wines.
And also, if you're not busy Friday,
Yeah, come to our party.
Come to our party.
April the 24th.
It's
Yeah.
my birthday too.
Done.
On,
How old is Chuck?
28.
No way. That's
This
incredible.
year. Oh, wait, are you 29?
I'm 28 next month.
Next month? Okay.
Yeah.
Me too.
I wasn't sure if you skipped the grade or didn't fail.
No, neither. I was just
Yeah,
spot
so you're
on.
definitely you're an 81er.
I'm an 81er, yeah.
We're the year of the cock. Well, I don't have any wine. I said the three of us.
Oh, you can pour some more wine. We got tons of wine. The audience is not drinking fast enough.
Audience, step up to the plate. Let's go. There's a lot of wine.
That's why.
This show is more fun when you're drunk.
Yeah, I want
And it's okay to get drunk. It's not insurance.
And Graham Borford, it's okay to play a song.
Yeah, great. Great.
Finally, someone gave me an opening for that.